All right, guys, welcome back to my channel. It is officially summertime, and so we are diving into some important topics. If you own a home, if you're thinking about buying a home, or if you're just trying to keep up with everything that's happening in Texas, you've probably noticed some things that are changing. There's a lot of things changing nationwide too, but we're just going to focus on Central Texas and Texas in general and how it may be affecting you. So it's not just the home price anymore. Property taxes have changed, insurance costs have changed. There have been new developments that are taking effect in Belton County that are affecting quite a few things, and Texas lawmakers have passed several bills that could affect homeowners now and for the years to come too. So we're going to start kind of diving into this series of changes in this video today. Make sure you comment down below if there's something that you've read or seen that you want some more information on, just because even myself, it's hard to kind of keep track of things all the time just because sometimes things kind of slip by. So today I want to break down 5 of the biggest changes that I think every homeowner and future homeowner in Central Texas should know about. Some of them are going to be great, and some things are going to be definitely just items to keep in mind or to keep watch to see how it progresses. If you don't know who I am Brina Gordon, your favorite Central Texas realtor. My job is to ensure you have all the tools and resources that you need to make informed decisions, which of course would be knowing the changes that are coming up or already happening and how that could affect you. So we're gonna jump straight off into one that's actually good. It's a little bittersweet, and I'm gonna explain why, and then we will kind of keep moving. So first, Texas has increased the Homestead Exemption. What is a Homestead Exemption? So when you purchase a home in the state of Texas and it's your primary residence, let me emphasize that, you're able to file what is called your Homestead Exemption once you have your driver's license updated to reflect that as your primary residence. And so this helps to control the taxable value of your home. So the county has a tax appraisal that happens every year. They're reevaluated, and that's how they calculate your property taxes. And so this helps to limit how much it can increase each year and limit the amount that they can tax on your home or the value of it. So previously it was set at $100,000, and recently it has increased to $140,000. Now I say this is bittersweet because although it's great, it's going to help us save money, that particular taxable value is actually taken away from the school district. So it's very bittersweet because, like many places, you know, our schools are already yearly under budget. You know, our staff is, not say our staff, but as someone that has a family member that works in Killeen Independent School District, and same thing as, you know, the other school districts as well, a lot of times they are already coming up short. They are often pretty much overworked and underpaid. Class sizes are getting bigger. Their personal supplies, you know, teachers spend so much money, so much of their personal money to help get things. So to see something like this get passed, although it definitely helps people in their property taxes, it's also bittersweet because it is taking away from a very important pool of money that is already stretched pretty thin. But just for the sake of this video, let's just kind of talk about what that means for you. So what does that actually mean? If your home qualifies as your primary residence, a large portion of your home's value is exempt from the school district property taxes. In simple terms, many homeowners could see a lower tax bill. And of course, we all want that, especially the state of Texas, because a lot of times people think, you know, Texas is less expensive, and in many cases it is, but our property taxes can definitely get you. So it is a big component of your monthly payment, which is in your escrow account. And if it doesn't apply to every taxing entity, so there are some stipulations. Like I said, it does need to be your primary residence. You know, this is not something for those that are looking to invest and things like that. These are for actual homeowners that are living in that particular home. But for many Texans, this is one of the biggest tax relief measures we've seen in years. So that's what makes it bittersweet. It is something that's needed, or a version of it, but it does, like I said, take away from a very important pool of money. And so people do think that it happens automatically. If you're working with me, and a lot of the lenders and title companies, they will all reiterate this to you. Hey, once you get settled, you update your driver's license, make sure you apply for your homestead, because it is something that will definitely benefit you in multiple ways. So I've never met a homeowner that lived in their house for years and never realized that, hey, we haven't filed. Usually by that first year or second year, they're kind of like, hey, what's going on with the taxes? That's when people either reach back out or do research, and then they'll go ahead and make sure they have it filed. So it's something that you can file at any time in the year, because otherwise you will essentially leave money on the table. There is no question about that. So it is something that is very important. And another thing to kind of keep on the lookout of, this is a little bit of a caveat, but the governor of Texas is trying to abolish property taxes in general. And I know people will say, that's super exciting. But again, you can't rob Peter to pay Paul. So that's my little 2 cents on that. If you are going to abolish it, then those funds do have to come from somewhere else, because our property taxes do make up, you know, how we are able to help assist pay for schools, emergency roads, so infrastructure. So all of it is very important. So again, if it does get removed, where are we subsidizing this money from? That's my little 2 cents on there. Comment down below if you have questions or you have your own opinion on it. I just want to make sure we are not set up for future headaches, so I don't know, guys.
Hey, if you're thinking of relocating to the Fort Cavazos area, I have just the thing for you. My team and I have actually taken the time to create the ultimate relocation guide, which is meant to save you hours of research. And I have it linked right down below. The best part is there's no obligation to this, and it's going to come with everything from the top employers to the best schools and a boatload of other information. Everything that you need to make the best decision. Again, no obligation. So make sure you click the link below. It also will be pinned, and I hope that it helps.
But moving on to number 2, something that is also very, very important for homeowners, you have to have homeowners insurance. And homeowners insurance has become a bigger take of the housing puzzle, because when you're looking to apply for your home, your lenders will typically use an estimate to kind of buffer in your payment. But as you go under contract, then you actually have to find homeowners insurance, and that's when you're getting real live quotes. What do the deductibles look like? What does it cover? What does it not cover? And all of that. And as weather patterns are continuing to change, homeowner insurance is changing with it. Usually that means increased premiums, increased deductibles, less coverage, or you need to get secondary coverage for certain things like flooding or fire, or who knows what it will look like in the future. So 5 years ago, almost every buyer asked me one thing: interest rates. Today, it's how much is homeowner insurance going to cost? How much are property taxes? Although that initial, your principal payment is still important, these other two are going to be right there next to them, because they're going to make up a pretty good chunk of your payment as well. And so insurance premiums across Texas have increased due to several factors: higher building costs, more expensive labor, higher materials. A lot of it, though, is weather pattern driven. As you've seen, I'm sure nationwide, you're seeing more tornadoes, floods, fires, hail. Hail is a really, really big one here. So you're seeing more deductibles when it comes to wind and hail specifically. And I know the area in Dallas, I've talked to a insurance broker, and he was talking about how sometimes people are getting priced out, not because of the home, but because the insurance premium is so high. And so that's something that you really do have to take in consideration. And you do want a good insurance, because I'll talk to clients and I'm like, hey, just want to be cautious. I know, it's going to be a bite the bullet either way, but you do want something that will have decent coverage. Should something happen, you actually can rely on your insurance. So sometimes you have to be careful getting the least expensive option. Although I get it can turn around and bite you, because especially weather, it's going to happen at some point. Now, of course, don't want anything crazy, but just again, example here, we've had a lot more hailstorms and a lot more roof replacements, and insurance is reflective of that weather change. So I've personally seen buyers have to adjust their budget because of insurance, or because of X, Y, and Z. Or if you're looking at a home and by chance it's labeled in some sort of FEMA flood area, that's going to increase your insurance premium as well. So that's why I always encourage clients to shop insurance early as soon as you can. I do always connect them to an insurance broker, so he can look at multiple options for them and kind of give them side to side kind of breakdowns, even with new construction, because a lot of times new construction is a lot less expensive, and a lot of builders, especially larger ones, will have in-house ones, but he's been able to beat even the in-house or associated mortgage insurance companies too. So it's just something you want to be very careful and practical about, and it's becoming more and more of a conversation as those prices increase. And that's nationwide too. Texas, I say Texas specifically just because our specific weather patterns have seen the change in premiums, but it is something that is nationwide as well. Now, the next one is a little bit of a touchy subject, because we are seeing this again nationwide, but Texas is definitely becoming a hub for none other than data centers. Now, I also made this video talking about a data center coming. We already have a couple, unfortunately. Fortunate, it just kind of is what it is with the current. But let's talk about something that people don't always discuss: the amount of data centers that are projected. It's not just one or two or three. I mean, you're talking about tens of, to thousands to support all of the infrastructure that is going on with data. Because we each know, every time you pick up your phone, you look online, everything is now supported with some sort of AI feature, whether it's just a convenient chat button, answering simple questions, whatever AI is involved. And all of that requires infrastructure, and infrastructure requires data centers, and they've got to be built somewhere, sucking away some power. And I think it's amazing that I've seen some countries build them offshore. I wish we would kind of look into that if it is a sustainable option. We don't want to go crash Mother Nature in the ocean either. But we are getting more and more conversations about data centers here. Again, that video of the one that's being built, or that was proposed to being built in Temple, it is now getting some pushback. But Bell County as a whole has had several discussions and proposals of data centers. One was going to be in Temple. the Roman company or whatever it's called had one already built a few years ago. They have already repurposed it and they're building a second one next to one of our most popular farms, Robinson Family Farms. And that one is $700 million and 700 acres. So that is land that once repurposed for that can never get back, even though they are, saying that they are doing more things so that they are more environmentally friendly. They're keeping that in mind. Every day, you and I both see videos of the humming noise, the heat, it's stressing animals and farmland. And so what does that actually look like? Unfortunately, I think we're going to find out. And how these projects could change the surrounding areas, county leaders have been discussing whether they need additional authority from the state to better regulate these in the future. So there is something and someone to hold them accountable. A lot of these businesses also get tax breaks. So the thought of it's going to bring in a lot of revenue, I personally question that. You guys comment down below if you do as well, because they're already getting tax breaks. They are AI, so a lot of times they're going to be streamlined pretty much as far as the job opportunities, because it's AI. So I'm sure that it'll create some, but probably not as many as it could be. But regardless of where you stand, it's an important conversation, because development decisions made today can shape Bell County, what it looks like in 10 to 20 years. I mean, it's changing it already. And a lot of citizens are very vocal now about it, now that they're seeing these data centers and conversations pop up constantly. Killeen also had a recent proposal and that got shot down, but it got shot down after the community came out to voice their concern, their grievances with it. That's when it got shot down. So everybody take a breath. We're off the data centers for now, but I'll keep y'all posted. So number 4 is going to be tied to it. Texas is investigating water because growth isn't slowing down. Now, if you guys have been watching any news, Corpus Christi is a coastal city in the state of Texas that is currently in a very much water crisis due to drought, due to growth. They have refineries there. And so Texas as a whole is going through some water issues. So here's what doesn't make a lot of headlines, but probably it should. Texas continues to investing into these long-term water planning. You might be wondering, what does the water have to do with real estate? Actually a lot, okay? Of course, because if you build, it takes water to build. When you see these trucks, see these infrastructure, building roads and all of this takes water. As Central Texas continues to grow, as communities need enough water infrastructure to build new neighborhoods, schools, employers, all of that. Growth slows down with infrastructure. So communities have the ability to keep expanding, but they can only do that if their supply source continues. So as a realtor, I don't just watch what homes are being built, but I'm also watching the resources that it takes to build those, and if those are sustainable resources at the level of growth that their community or the city or the state is planning. And so to me, that's a legitimate concern, because if you move somewhere, you want to know, am I moving to somewhere that is going to be in a constant drought or constant water restriction? And that's a concern for all of us. Now, luckily, a lot of water, we did get a lot of rain the better half of this year, but we are officially entering the summer and the rain has stopped. So we're going to see how this continues to play out, and we're going to see how Corpus Christi handles it, because that may set a precedence for the rest of the state of Texas and how they're handling their water shortage should that unfortunate issue continue to spread. Now, to tie back to number 1, property taxes aren't done changing. Even with the homestead exemption increase, the conversation around property taxes unfortunately isn't over. Texas lawmakers continue to discuss additional terms, from appraisal caps, appraisal procedures, finding more ways to reduce property tax burden. Here in Bell County, it is also important to remember, just because the market value increases doesn't necessarily mean your taxable value increases at the same pace as your homestead. And I always make sure I break that down to clients, because a lot of times they get their Bell County tax appraisal and they'll give me a call or text like, Brina, the tax appraisal says this, but I paid this. Those two are fortunately not aligned. It's kind of weird, but that appraiser for the county and the people that are appraising your home are actually two separate complete entities. Appraisers don't even have information on that. That is separated through our MLS. If for some reason you are looking at your appraisal and you're like, what in the world is going on here? That's the opportunity to go back and protest it to the county, and sometimes they can go ahead and work those numbers down if there's enough supporting evidence of it. But unfortunately, like I said before, the property tax piece is still very much in the works, in pending, as far as it's changing. So that is just the tip of the iceberg of some changes and things to keep in mind, whether you're a homeowner here or other places, because there are things changing nationwide, but I just want to kind of specifically talk about what's going on in our county, in our state, and how we are adjusting or how we are adapting, or the future things that could be coming. Because real estate isn't just about buying or selling homes anymore. It's about understanding policies, taxes, insurance costs, and development decisions that shape our communities, like we've discussed in this video. So whether you're a first-time home buyer or thinking about selling, or you've owned a home for a few years, these are the kind of changes that can have real impact on your finances over time. And I'm curious, which one do you think will be the biggest impact on Central Texas? And I'm going to hop right back on property taxes for one moment, because this is also something that's important to our area. We do have a very high veteran area, and so we do have a very high 100% exemption. And so that does factor in our property taxes as well, because those that are 100% exempt don't pay them. Now, that is 100% a earned category, so do not get that wrong, but from a financial perspective, that is something that the city has to account for as well. The more people that are 100%, that those are hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars that the city does not get. And there are supposed to be some other ways that they supplement it, but as that number grows, again, if you can't, you got to figure out how to supplement that income, just like the state of Texas hoping to get rid of property taxes as a whole, how you supplement the income to still sustain infrastructure, daily functions, and just the management of the city. Now, this was an impactful video, lots of information, again, the tip of the iceberg, but I wanted to make sure you guys knew things that are happening. So comment down below your questions, or if you want me to share something else and look into anything else, I'm happy to do so. As always, I'm Brina Gordon, your favorite Central Texas realtor. Share this with somebody, and I'll see y'all in the next video.